You may be asking yourself, why a 10-year plan? After all, our school already has enough students complete a 4-year graduation plan. Isn't 4 or 5 years of planning enough? It is important that young people are able to envision and then plan for a productive future as a self-sufficient adult. Studies show that entering college freshmen who have a vision and plan for a career path are far more likely to graduate and successfully enter the workforce than those who enter college with the vague notion that they either have to go to college or they have a vision of themselves as good students, and therefore college is the obvious next step. Think about it. A 4-year plan. It may get a student through graduation, but for far too many students, when the only goal is graduation, this is not enough to keep them in school, particularly when they find it boring or irrelevant. This fact has been cited in a report by the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation as a key to the reason why students drop out. Without the vision of a productive future and the understanding of the consequences of not getting a good education, far too many will still drop out. These students will become the adults who later in life say, if only someone had told me what it would be like when I was growing up. Okay, so what about the 5-year plan? Yes, a 5-year plan will get you into college, but as we all know, the dropout rate in college is 50%. 50% of students drop out of college or do not graduate within 6 years. Let's talk about another dropout statistic that really isn't talked about, but is just as insidious. What about the young people who are dropping out of the economic race from the roles of economically self-sufficient adults? They are known as Twixters. Reported in a recent Time magazine survey, 20% of 26-year-olds live at home or they are not economically independent of their parents. You probably know sons and daughters of friends who upon graduation from college return home to live. Or, if they're not living at home, are receiving some sort of support payments from what is known as the bank of mom and dad. According to a recent CNN poll, 48% of college graduates return home to live, and 44% are living there 1 year later. Addressing these issues as they relate to economic self-sufficiency requires that students understand the necessity of a career-focused and have a quantitative plan for their upcoming decade of transition. This translates most efficiently in the form of a 10-year plan that has real meaning for the student. This vision of a productive future will provide the roadmap for keeping students on course as they tackle the higher-order skills demanded of the citizens of the 21st century. Besides career exploration, through this 10-year planning process, your students will learn to project into the future and understand the consequences of today's choices and actions. This is an important developmental skill necessary for successful decision-making and goal-setting. Students who can do this are far less likely to take the easy road, that of dropping out, because they understand the negative impact that one act will have on their lives. Students need classroom-based activities that will help them understand how to match academic and educational effort to lifestyle expectations. Spending time examining lifestyle scenarios, financial and emotional, is an important component of a course that will impact your dropout rates. Today, some educators advocate online personality assessments and computerized career exploration tools. These are usually perceived by the user as magical, therefore really not believed. Wow, look at this. The computer just said I'd be happy as a heavy-duty machine operator. The process of becoming identity achieved takes study, discussion, feedback, support, and personal observations. You don't want to short-circuit this important developmental step. A person who truly knows themselves and their own motivations will be much more likely to have the self-esteem it takes to stay the course, even under adverse situations. Young people need to learn and practice communication, interpersonal, and self-management skills necessary to succeed in today's educational and workforce settings. This goes really beyond the study skill component included in many freshman orientation settings. There is no reason that students shouldn't be exposed to such important skills such as learning to tolerate anxiety and then to act anyway, delaying gratification to achieve long-range plans, setting quantitative goals and objectives, make considered decisions after evaluating all options and analyzing the probability of success, and using visualization and affirmations to push themselves toward cherished goals. By reviewing case studies, scenarios, stories of others who have met challenges, Adolescents can practice, discuss, try on, and plan for challenging situations that are bound to come up in everyone's life. They will learn to analyze quantitatively what economic self-sufficiency equals for them. This is a really important part of the 10-year planning process. After all, how can you know what career level to prepare for if you don't know how much you need to earn? To ignore this fact of life does a disservice to our young people and the families that will someday rely on them. In addition, once students have explored this figure in a personalized way, and that figure has real meaning to them because it reflects their envisioned lifestyle, watch the almost overnight change in attitude about the value of education. Dropping out now carries consequences in a concrete number. Your students will become proactive rather than reactive in managing the changed situations of their lives. Change is inevitable. Those of us who know the systems and procedures for managing change are far more likely to land on our feet when change is forced upon us. This one skill will make young people feel more in control of their lives and therefore less prone to defeatism, that many times is the precursor to dropping out. And finally, students who complete a course will understand the challenges and the benefits of a consciously planned career path. Armed with all this information, new skills and aptitudes, students will be much more likely to persevere when they hit life's speed bumps. Instead of dropping out, whether it's high school, college, or life, they'll instead buckle down, get the support needed to stay the course. In closing, here's a quick tip. You can probably get parent buy-in from your new course and 10-year plan effort by reminding them that in England, the adult children returning home to live are known as kippers. Kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings.